Department of Education. I am eagerly looking forward to spending many more days in the pleasant pursuit of science with the sweetest, brightest, and most respectful students in the city of New York. But I am also a concerned and troubled man. I am concerned that public education has become the lightning rod and scapegoat for many of society's ills and shortcomings. I am troubled that the educational venue of New York City youth has become the battleground over which irreconcilable socio-political forces and special interests have chosen to do combat. It is a conflict which paralyzes a public education system, once the envy of the modern world, to the point where few children are left behind because so few children are moving forward. Our schools must not be a forum for social complaint. They must not be places where adults congregate to argue, gain visibility, or attempt to exert leverage over provincial political matters. Schools must function as places of enlightenment, encouragement, and ennoblement. Ultimately, I am a hopeful man. I am confident that the stewards of our free society's most venerated and sacred of institutions will redouble their efforts in ensuring that each and every child in the city of New York is bestowed with the gift of a meaningful and purposeful education vital to their growth, security, prosperity, and stability. I gratefully accept this award on behalf of the following people. On behalf of Lisa Scacolosi, Zane Jacobs, and Honora Dash of Jean Jouy High School for their unfailing support and confidence. On behalf of my high school teachers, my true role models, who showed me that conveying even the most rigorous and challenging concepts are decidedly more effective and palatable when teachers are kind, compassionate, patient, and understanding. On behalf of my students, whose unconditional respect and trust inspire me each and every day. On behalf of my son Michael, who helped me learn what it takes to be a good caregiver. On behalf of my wife of 35 years, Stephanie, for supporting my thirst for rocks, books about rocks and physics. And on behalf of my grandmother, Emma Bonsignor, who always had more confidence in me than I ever had in myself. Thank you.
The second award goes to a teacher of mathematics at Wings Academy, and let us welcome Principal Wayne Cox.
The subject of mathematics could be very intimidating, and oftentimes students have a very bad experience of the subject. So when they come to me as a teacher, I have to keep that in mind. So I have to find ways to make it more fun and interesting to them. But before I get to that stage, I have to know what their interests are. So initially, I would interview my students to ask them about their interests, ask them about their prior experiences as far as math is concerned. Otherwise, I do things like blending math in other subject areas that they may like very well. For example, you know, a student may like science or physics, and you could blend math with science and physics very easily. So that's one way. You blend in different ideas together, and it attracts them in that way.
I think what makes Mr. Nelson a good teacher, let me say a very good teacher, is his compassion, his dedication, his strength and stamina, his steadfastness and love for the subject that he teaches.
Right now he's our AP calculus teacher, and the program started with him. He was very interested in doing this program. The kids are passing the exams, we're getting 4s and 5s, and we are doing very well. Every subject area that he teaches, we do very well at the end of the school year.
Mr. Nelson pushes every student as hard as he can, which they push back against him a lot of times at first, but by the end of the year, they completely appreciate it because he gets a lot out of them.
I started my schooling, my formal schooling at a late age, almost 9 years old. I was years behind in terms of reading and writing and so on and so forth. So those were my initial challenges. Later, when I got to high school, then I had other challenges because I didn't know how to study, I didn't know how to decipher certain paragraphs, technical paragraphs, and to add to that, I did math chemistry. I specialized in high school in math chemistry, physics, and so on. So that posed a challenge for me also. Some of my students, they do have some of the same qualities that I have. Some of them struggle initially with their education, so I could speak to that. How would I like my students to remember me? That's a good one. Well, as a caring person, as someone who cared not only about your education, but their well-being, I always want my kids to be the best they could be. So I would like them to remember Mr. Nelson as the guy who pushed me to be the best I could be.
Wow, nothing I can do here will compete with the strength and emotion of that incredible video that we just saw. But I will say this, as a proud graduate of the Bronx public high school system, I know firsthand the life-changing differences exceptional teachers can make in our community, in our city, and in the fields of engineering and math. So it's my singular honor today, on behalf of the selection panel, the Fund for the City of New York, and the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation, to award this $500 award, $5,000 award to Mr. Frederick Nelson.
First of all, let me just say, I'm glad you made a correction. Good evening, everyone. Please excuse me if I may seem a little nervous. This is my very first recognition of this sort, so I'm overwhelmed, all right? First, I would like to thank God for his many blessings, because without him, this would not have been possible. I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to the Fund for the City of New York and the Sloan Foundation for this recognition. It's an honor and a privilege to be in the presence of all these very bright, very intelligent people. This is a moment I'll treasure for the rest of my life. My journey to this stage began in a small, poverty-stricken rural town in Jamaica. It's a journey that's filled with ups and downs, trials and tribulations. But along this journey, I've been blessed to have met some influential and very compassionate people. People like Mr. Wayne Cox, principal at Wings Academy, Maureen Pond, who I saw earlier in the audience somewhere, Lois Green, I'm not sure if she's here today, assistant principal at Wings Academy. These people, along with the entire Wings Academy community, gave me an opportunity to spread my wings. And for this opportunity, I am sincerely grateful, because without it, I would not have been here today. To all my relatives and friends, thank you for your love and support over the years. You know exactly my journey to this stage. To all my teachers, especially Enrique May, Mary Royal, Darren Fraser, thank you for believing in me. Thank you for bringing out the best in me. To my family, who's right there, Petra, Darren, you guys are my rock. Thank you for your undying love and support. You know, to make the story very short, my journey to this stage actually would not have been possible without my mother, Millicent Nelson, who unfortunately cannot be here today. But in her own unique way, she taught me how to be respectful, to be strong, to persevere, and to be humble, and to value my education. And without her, I would not have been the person I am today. And I want to dedicate this moment to her, my mother. Thank you.
The The third award goes to a biology and science research teacher at Townsend High School, and I would like to ask Principal Kenneth Bonamo and Assistant Principal Sue